Hi, I'm David Fleming from the Disciples Ignited YouTube channel, where we're focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, we've been studying the wilderness journey, how the Lord used Moses to deliver the Israelites out of their slavery in Egypt and then take them into the desert where the Lord himself was going to prepare the Israelites to fulfill their destiny that was going to take place in the promised land. Now, this week, we're going to close up this series, but we're going to be dealing with some very important topics, so I hope that you'll listen to each video this week. Today, we're going to be talking about leadership, how leaders in God's house are so important. Now, the Israelites have finally been led by the Lord to the threshold of the promised land. The Lord is ready to give the promised land to the Israelites. But before he does, there's one last test that the Israelites have got to pass, and that is directed towards the leaders among the Israelites. Let me read to you Numbers chapter 13, verse 1. You'll find it very interesting. The Lord said to Moses, "Send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites." Now, this already gives us a clear indication that the Lord is ready to give the promised land to the Israelites. Now is the time. But before he does, he says, from each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders. What is he going to have these leaders do? He has called these leaders to an important task of checking out the land. Is it everything that God has promised it to be? Is it a land where the Israelites are going to be blessed and prosperous? Are they going to be men full of faith, putting their trust in the Lord, that God is going to enable them to take the land as God has promised them? Well, before we cast any stones against the report that these leaders are going to give, let me ask you about your leaders in God's house today. You see, the church still has leaders today. And to be a leader in God's house is a great honor, but it's also a great responsibility. Now, when we look at ourselves as followers of Jesus Christ, we also know that the Lord has given his church leaders to guide us. In Ephesians, we're told that Jesus Christ has given the church apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers to prepare God's people for works of service. In other words, the Lord has given his church leaders to lead us, just like he did the Israelites in the desert. Now, before we cast stones at these leaders of Israel that didn't fare too well in their report, let me ask you, are you praying for your leaders? Now, see, the Israelites themselves were very difficult to lead. We already know that they were rebellious against Moses. They at times, even the Bible tells us, wanted to kill Moses. And so it already gives us a clear indication that the Israelites were rebellious, difficult to lead. And I would have to say that maybe some of God's people in his church are not too different. Maybe sometimes instead of supporting our leaders with prayer and asking God to fill them with a revelation of Jesus and fill them full of God's grace and wisdom and understanding and love and mercy, we stab them in the back. We talk about them. We crucify them. Well, I'm telling you, leaders that have people praying for them always fare better than those that don't. So before you crucify your leaders for giving a bad report, check yourself. Have you been praying for your leaders when maybe they're not doing so well? Let's talk more about it tomorrow.